And taking a first look at your local forecast, Chief Meteorologist Bill Alexander is back and joins us with the latest. Welcome back, Bill. Good to have you back.
It's great to be back, except for that heat. It's been a scorcher for the last several days. Not any different now. In fact, look outside right now. 95 degrees, your current temperature. Doesn't even begin to tell the story, though. Look at that heat index up at 105, and that's more the rule than any exception you can imagine. Satellite DTAR Doppler out there showing no rain anywhere close to us. The big news, though, is these heat index values that are going to persist all week long. Heat advisories from north central Texas right into South Texas. It's going to be a scorcher of a week. All the details coming up later in your hometown forecast. Amanda? And Calcom Federal Credit Union's live weather cam in Cuero is showing 92 degrees out there. Doesn't sound too bad until you factor that 42% humidity and the southeast wind at 14 miles, just bringing more moisture in. We're going to look at the continued humidity and stuffy temperatures for the next several days. I'll give you the full rundown later in your hometown forecast.
Weather with Chief Meteorologist Bill Alexander.
Here to talk weather on this Monday evening is Chief Meteorologist Bill Alexander. Bill, what can people expect for the rest of the work week?
Johnny Carson jokes. How hot is it? It's going to be annoying during the next several days, especially if you're spending a significant amount of time outdoors. With temperatures pushing 100 or even exceeding 100, we're going to have heat index values that are in the dangerous category, and it's something we're going to have to keep advised. Let's take a look at our climate data for today. We've made it up to 99 degrees after a morning low of just 78, and that 78 is just as critical as that 99 out there when you're starting to talk about recovery from the extreme heat. Very old, very young, or sick people, or people without proper ventilation are not going to be able to recover from the heat with that low temperature only dropping barely below the 80-degree mark. No rain during the last 24 hours. We're still way below normal on temperatures. Looking at your pollen report today, we managed to come up with a moderate category on grass and mold spore. Low category now for ragweed, which hadn't shown up for some time. It's getting on towards the second half of the summer season. You're starting to see that pick up. Here's your current temperatures across the area. Look at the triple digits along the I-10 corridor and back towards San Antonio. And we're still looking at middle to upper 90s. The interior, a little bit less hot across the immediate coastal plains, but don't let that fool you. Factor in the moisture and the heat index, say at Seadrift, is 104 degrees. So there's no real respite from the heat anywhere you go here in the Golden Crescent. You're just going to have to endure this and do your best for precautions to minimize your exposure to that heat. The upper level high sitting right over the Lone Star State is responsible for that. The extreme heat has been protracted. It's been lasting for some time, and it will continue for the next several days. Where's the rain? Across the Rockies and around through the Central Plains. You've got a tornado watch going across the Central Plains right now in western Kansas, where some very strong storms are erupting across that area. That will continue until 11 p.m. Now, the real relief from the heat, well, we're going to have to wait a few days for that. In the meantime, here's this magenta area where you've got temperatures in the 90s and triple digits, and in fact it's going to be a heat index kind of period for the next several days, all the way from southern Oklahoma into South Texas. We do have some relief on the way, but it's going to be several days before it gets here. Let's take a look at your tropics, and that's where you're going to find it. Nothing here in the central part of the Atlantic and back into the Caribbean, but there's a weak tropical wave situated here in the Florida Straits, and that's going to be something to help us out. Next couple of days, high pressure dominant across the area in the upper atmosphere. Notice all the rain around the periphery of that high and not really affecting us. So here's that forecast. Tonight, 78 degrees, that's your low temperature. A windy evening out there, winds gusting to 30 miles an hour, dropping off to around 6 to 12 out of the south-southeast after midnight. But look at the low temperature, not very low. And tomorrow, triple-digit heat index values, 110 to 112 degrees. Again, breezy, but it's like a stifling steam bath out there. And so it's going to be a problematic week for us heat-wise. But then that tropical wave comes in over the weekend and gives us scattered thunderstorms Saturday, becoming a bit more isolated Sunday and Monday.
And as we mentioned earlier, sports practice begins today, so any parents with kids playing sports really stress the importance of staying hydrated.
Absolutely, especially if they spend hours outdoors on that hot turf where the heat is even more troubling for them.
All right, thanks, Bill.